Hi, friends. This is a recording for Lesson 2, Chapter 4, and we're going to go over the anchor task that you were asked to solve on your dry erase board. So this anchor task is asking you to look at the picture, which are, you can see there's donuts, and it says here, think of different ways to find the total number of donuts. So first of all, we need to understand how many there are in each. So if we count this one tray, we can see that in this one tray, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I say that because sometimes we might make a mistake in counting, so we really need to double check and make sure. So one tray has 12. We see that there are 4 trays. I hope you found some time to find different ways to calculate how many donuts there are altogether. So let's go ahead and think about this for a moment. So I wonder how you solve this. There are several different ways to solve this problem to show how many donuts there are. One particular way, and remember in the classroom we've talked about different ways, and way is the same thing as method, means the same thing as a method, or a strategy. Those are all the same words that we're trying to use, okay? But just to make it easy, we're going to use the word way. So way 1. Okay. I wonder if you said, okay, I see 1, 2, 2 trays of 12 donuts each, and you could have done 12 plus 12, which is 24, and then counted the last 2 trays, which again has 12 plus 12, again 24, right? And then you just have to add these two together. So if I use standard column means that you're lining up the place values accurately and making sure that you're counting with the ones first and then moving on to the tens. So 4 plus 4 is 8, 2 plus 2 is 20 plus 20 is 40. So we have 48 donuts total. So that's one way you could have calculated it, okay? Another way you could have done this is by using multiplication and said, okay, I see 2 trays of donuts, 2 times 12 equals, this is way 2, 2 times 12 equals 24, again, 2 times 12 equals 24. Same idea as before, except this time we're making sure we're using multiplication, and then we add these together to get 48. There are so many different ways. Here's another way you could have calculated the donuts. So way 3 could have been using base 10 blocks, and I know you have some at home, maybe you use them. So if you look at the one tray has 12 donuts. Again, this represents the 10, and then these represent the single cubes, right? So altogether here we have 12, and then you could have done another 12, right? 12 and 12. And so if we look at this carefully, we can say, oh, I can see that there are, I'm going to count all the tens first. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 tens, and I can write an equation for that. I can say it's 4 times 10, which is 40. Okay, now I have to make sure I count the ones. I don't want to forget the ones. And if I look at the ones, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 4 groups of 2, which is 4 times 2, which is 8. And then all I have to do is take that 40 and 8 and add it together. So if I add that together, I get 48. So you could have also used base 10 blocks. Here is a fourth way you could have solved it. The fourth way would be using, now you may have used this in second grade or you may not have. We used this briefly earlier on in the year, but I'll show you again. You could have used number bonds. A number bond is a way to decompose or break down a number. So for example, if you wanted to take the number 12 and break it down, there are so many different ways, right? So over here we have 12 donuts, and you could have said 4 times 12. Well, I don't know what 4 times 12 is, but I can break this 12 down, and here's a number bond. I can break the 12 down And now this is where addition comes into play. Think of all the numbers that give you 12. We're going to think of two numbers. So in this case, I'm going to say 10 plus 2. 10 plus 2 give me 10 plus 2 give me 12. Now what I do is I take the 4 and I multiply it by the 10. So I get 4 times 10, and 4 times 10, you know, is 40. That's my answer down over here. And down over here, I do the same thing with the 2. I do 4 times 2. That gives me 8. And then guess what I do? I take the 40 plus 8, and that gives me 48. That's how I use a number bond using multiplication. So that gives me 48. Number bonds, again, are just ways to break down a bigger number to make it easier. Okay, so 48 donuts. So let's take a look at what our friends in the textbook did. So again, let's take a look, and I'm going to just make sure I go zoom out. Again, this was page 134. You can see our friend Mateo here said 4 groups of 12. That's 4 rows of 12. And he used repeated addition. Down over here, you can see 12 plus 12 plus 12 equals 48. That's what we did earlier. And then moving along to the next page, we can see, let me just zoom out a little. There we go. There we have base 10 blocks. Our friend used base 10 blocks just like we did. Broke the one box into 10 and 2, which make 12. And then what our friend did was multiply, just like we did. 4 times 10 equals 40. And then for these single cubes, 4 times 2 equals 8. Added them together to get 48. And the last way over here, again, using number bond, our friend used discs. This is that one tray, 10 plus 1 plus 1, that's 12. And then just showing it using discs to say that these are rows of 12. Taking the 12, breaking it down, just like we did, and saying 4 times 10 is 40, 4 times 2 is 8, and then adding it. So those are some ways to calculate the anchor task. Okay, so I believe the next thing you're going to be doing in a moment is looking at, our friend over here also used cubes. Okay, so you can again use cubes. And just to kind of go over this part right here, do you remember how I said that for number bonds, you can use different types of numbers to break a bigger number down? So this person decided, I'm not going to use 10 plus 2. I'm going to use 6 plus 6. Same idea. 4 times 6 is 24. 4 times 6 is 24. Add them together. Okay. So there are so many different ways of doing this. This person used doubles. You may have used the same method. Check it out in the textbook. There are endless ways. We're teaching you these strategies because we know that there's going to be 1 or 2 ways that you're going to end up preferring. So that's fine. In a moment, you're going to be asked to do the guided practice page. So make sure you do that. Use what you just learned in the anchor task. Go back and look at these methods to help you do the guided practice, okay? All right, thank you, friends. Thank you for working so hard. I miss you. Bye.